Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to Al Huda's Iftar program. The purpose of this program is to give some conversation, remembrance of Allah, and to connect with our community before we open our fast. We want to thank you all for tuning in. So without further ado, let's begin. We wanted to bring in a special guest for today, who is Sister Hanan Fadel. Sister Hanan Fadel is an ACE certified personal trainer, consistency coach, and health habit building junkie. Her favorite things to do include lifting weights, reading about personal development, drinking coffee, and going hiking. She currently lives in Windsor, Ontario, with her husband and 2 daughters. She can be found on Facebook at Mind Body Elevation by Hanan or on Instagram at Hanan Fadel. So without further ado, Sister Hanan, could you take it away?
Alaikum, thank you. Yes, do you want me to start just talking about fitness during Ramadan, or do you guys want to ask me any questions to start off?
We can get started with you speaking about Ramadan, please, inshallah.
Sure. Yeah, so today we're going to talk a little bit about working out and fitness or sleep during Ramadan, how to balance it. So I get a lot of questions about Ramadan. Should you be working out during Ramadan? What's the importance of working out during Ramadan? When should you work out? And, you know, working out during Ramadan is a very personal thing. So it really depends on a lot of different factors. So if you work out, actually, let's start off by talking about really the main benefit of moving. I like to call it movement during Ramadan. And that is that during Ramadan, your body, which is an amazing blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that the body goes through a process called autophagy. And during autophagy, your body, so a lot of the times, like let's say you have pain somewhere in your body, or maybe you have a family member who has a disease or some sort of ailment that you just can't figure out. And this is a quote from one of my favorite mentors. And if you guys look him up on Instagram, he's awesome. He's called @StopChasingPain. And he says, the body is under no obligation to make sense to you. The body's under no obligation to make sense to you. So a lot of the times when you have pain or you're really tired or you have some sort of ailment, you're thinking, what's wrong with me? Right? You're like, why is my body doing this to me? Right? Like you think that your body is against you. Like somehow your body is just resisting, you know, being healthy, and it's not doing what you want it to do. It can be super frustrating. So the reality is, your body wants you to heal, right? And during Ramadan, your body goes through a process called autophagy, which literally the dead cells get removed from your body. And maybe the cells that are not super effective get removed from your body as well. So these cells take up a lot of energy in your body and it needs to be removed. So when you fast, you're allowing that process to happen. The body is able to remove the waste. So there's something called, actually, let's go over a fish tank analogy. Okay, so let's talk about how does your body remove waste and why is it so important? Any sickness, any disease, any fatigue, if you want to be the best version of yourself, you need to feel strong and healthy, right? So any disease or any sickness is caused by an inability to remove waste from your body. So I like to say, think of your cells as like mini human beings. So your body is made up of a bunch of millions of cells, billions of cells. I don't know how many cells are in your body. Someone from medical school can tell me. But think of your cells as mini human beings, right? They eat and then they produce waste. And the waste has to somehow get out of your body, okay? And so let's say that you have blockages in your body, in your lymphatic system, which is responsible for removing toxins. It will stay stuck. And during Ramadan, it's really important that we move, because movement and deep breathing are the 2 main ways that we can aid the body in removing waste and toxins to allow for healing. So we were literally just improving the process that's already happening during Ramadan. That's why during the first week, some people feel absolutely horrendous. It's because literally you have so many toxins that are being released into your body and they're trying to get out. But if you're sitting all the time, it's going to be hard for the toxins to get out of your body. So it's really actually very bad to sit all day while you're fasting. And I'm not a proponent of doing like super high intensity exercise during Ramadan unless it's something that you really enjoy and you feel really good doing. But there's a middle balance where you do want to move because you're going to aid the process of already happening in your body. And it's just, you're going to feel better doing it.
So when should we be working out during Ramadan, and like how long should we be working out for, and what type of exercise should we be doing aside from walking? Because even though when we go out for walks and stuff, like sometimes the weather doesn't sit well, or something doesn't seem right, and so we end up like not wanting to do a lot of things, or we don't feel motivated. So how do you feel motivated to wanting to work out?
Yeah, for sure. During Ramadan, it's very hard to feel motivated to exercise. Let's talk about when to work out during Ramadan. It's very, again, personal. So I don't prefer to work out after sahur or in the mornings. I like to work out around noon, or between noon and 3 o'clock, I would say, because it gives me a little energy boost for the rest of the day. And then there's some people who really, really like working out before Iftar. And again, there are some people who do like working out in the morning. And some people like working out after Iftar. So it really doesn't matter. It depends on what you feel good doing, because again, the goal is just to move a little bit. And if it's easier for you to move in the morning, let's say, then do that. If it's easier for you to move after Iftar sometimes, then do that. The goal is just to be consistent. So whatever time you're able to be consistent with, that's the best time to work out, right? Whatever is feels the easiest for you, that's going to be the best time to work out. And what I tell people is do a 7-minute movement flow. Do 7 minutes of movement. It does not need to be intense, and do some sort of body weight resistance training. So I mean, walking is amazing. So if you can walk, that's awesome. Like I would count that as a workout during Ramadan. That's a great form of movement, especially to get the toxins out of your body. If the weather doesn't permit you to walk, do like body weight resistance workout or body weight workout. Set a timer for 7 minutes. Don't have any expectations of yourself, right? Don't feel like, oh my God, I have to kill it in my workout. No, just move for 7 minutes and that's it.
That's a really good answer. Just to add on that, what are the benefits of working out during Ramadan if you compared to working out during the rest of the year?
Yeah, so the benefits, like we talked about, was the toxin removal. So you still get toxin removal in general when you're working out, but you're really removing toxins during Ramadan. And actually what you can do, a practical tip, before you move, and even if you don't move, like let's say you're not working out that day, your collarbone right here on your left side specifically is where the toxins they're shuttled to this area. So actually, if you can take your hand on top of your collarbone and you rub it like 10 times, so go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you're going to tap it 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you do the other side 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you tap 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then actually what you can do is, I can't show you right now, I'm just wearing my scarf. It's preferable to do this on your skin. Same thing with the collarbone. It's preferable for your fingers to touch your skin. If you can do it right behind your jawbone, right under your earlobe on each side, this is where a huge area of lymph fluid is in your neck. You can rub that up and down 10 times, just like we did the collarbone, and then you tap 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do those 2 areas daily. That will help remove the toxins as well. So benefits of working out during Ramadan, removal of toxins. Second benefit is that if your goal is fat loss, it will help with fat loss. Third goal is that it's really about just maintaining healthy habits. So it's about habit maintenance. That's all it is, habit maintenance. It's not about going above and beyond, it's just maintaining your habits.
So going on to maintaining habits, which is something that I think that we all struggle with. What would you tell the youth today about healthy eating habits, especially with COVID-19 causing so many late nights?
So many late nights in terms of nothing late at night?
Yeah, staying up all night, or sleeping in until noon, or having like that unbalanced sleep schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, let's talk about your brain for a second. So when you don't sleep enough, right? And I think it's there are studies done that show that when you sleep after midnight, you're not getting the same amount of deep sleep, right? Like it's not the same. So you want to try and sleep before midnight. But your brain, I like to call it your adult brain, your prefrontal cortex right here, is responsible for decision making, for rational thinking. So for example, if you're trying to lose weight and let's say you're going to a wedding, like pre-COVID, okay, obviously, and there's cake there and you're like, oh my God, there's cake. No, I'm not going to eat the cake because I want to lose 10 pounds, right? When you have that thought, that's your prefrontal cortex. When you're being rational, that's your adult brain. But then you have your toddler brain, okay, which is like, oh my God, but you deserve it. You worked so hard studying for your exams and like you deserve that piece of chocolate cake. And come on, you can just start on Monday, right? That's your child brain, your toddler brain. And most of the time, your toddler brain is always going to win unless you have systems in place to help when you're having those cravings. But when you don't sleep enough, what happens is your prefrontal cortex, your brain, uses a lot of sugar, glucose. When you don't sleep enough, and sometimes you can't control this, like if you have a new baby, your prefrontal cortex, actually the amount of glucose in your brain, but specifically in your adult brain, goes down, which means you're not able to make decisions as well. And you're not able to think as rationally. So when you wake up that next morning, let's say you wake up late, you stayed up late, you wake up late, you have less glucose in that part of your brain that you need to study, that you need to make decisions, that you really need to control yourself, right? And then what happens is you're going to have sugar cravings because you're trying to refill those sugar stores in your brain. So you're going to start having more sugar cravings because you're trying to regain that glucose. So it's really like a vicious cycle. But so yeah, sleep is so important, so important. Like you cannot underestimate sleep. And let's be real, going to sleep early is not easy. It takes discipline to go to sleep early. When you see someone go to sleep early every single night, you're like, wow, how does that person do it? It's really not an easy thing to do because you feel like you're missing out, right? Or like you want to stay up late. It's kind of fun after everyone goes to sleep. But if you can start slowly setting your alarm, like 15 minutes, 30 minutes earlier every night, and eventually till you get to a place where maybe you're going to sleep like right after Isha or not too long after Isha, obviously it's different during Ramadan, then you can start waking up earlier. It'll be so much easier and you're going to feel so much better, guaranteed. There's a reason that the hours in the morning are blessed, or a blessed time, because your brain is just going to function better at that time.
All right, thank you for that great answer. I know my mom always looks at when I sleep early, but I don't always listen. But to continue with sleep questions, what's your advice on healthy sleep habits during Ramadan with Tarawih prayers? And for those here in Canada who wake up for a really early suhoor?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't really have an answer for Ramadan. I feel like sleep just goes out the window, and I'm okay with that because it's Ramadan, right? Like you want to worship as much as you can. You are eating late. Tarawih is late. I think that's just one of the sacrifices of Ramadan, right? Like we are sacrificing our food and also we're sacrificing our sleep in a way. And those are really essentials for us, but we're doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I feel like for just 30 days, like it's fine, right? Like, but if you just take naps during the day, if you have a really hard time, take a nap during the day, that also helps. But other than that, yeah, I think it's only 30 days and just do what you can.
So what would you say to with having like supplements? Like some people would take like healthy eating supplements just so that they can either get like their multivitamins and if they can't eat sahur or whatever it may be. So what are your thoughts on that? On having supplements instead?
Having supplements instead of like doing sahur, you're saying?
Yeah, without doing sahur, because some people like, they don't wake up for sahur or they don't want to eat anything, so then they just end up taking supplements. So what are like the
I've never really heard that. I think you could do that for sure, especially if you know that you're low in certain vitamins. I don't think it hurts. But yeah, that's definitely something you could do. I mean, I don't think I think not eating suhoor is not going to make enough like that much of a difference. I think we need to eat to get all these nutrients. And the reality is, like we were talking about in the beginning, if your body can't get waste out of your body, you can't get nutrients in. So it doesn't really matter how much healthy food you're eating. If you're not moving and you're not doing some deep breathing, then you're still going to get nutrients into your body, obviously, but it's going to make it more efficient to get nutrients in. So I would say even more than taking a multivitamin, I mean, unless you know you're low in certain vitamins, if you can move 7 minutes a day and do a few minutes, like literally 5 minutes of deep breathing through your nose. And I would do 4 seconds inhale into the nose, 8 seconds exhale for 5 minutes. That's going to help get nutrients to your cells.
Most definitely. So yeah, so like, what are like the worst foods to break our fast with? Like any of them like are popular like amongst families, and how could we incorporate more healthy options into our iftars?
Yeah, I think anything super refined. So refined sugar, refined flour, anything heavily deep fried. But it's really, I think it also depends, like that's just going to skyrocket your blood sugar right away. So I really think that those maybe should be avoided when you break your fast, but I don't want to say like general statement, like avoid all these foods before you break your fast, because what really matters is how you feel when you're eating the food. So if you feel guilty when you're eating the food, or you start like having this cycle of self-loathing, or you feel like, okay, I already messed up iftar, so I might as well eat whatever I want, right? Or you start to just give up on eating healthy because you ate one thing that's unhealthy, then that is more concerning to me than what you're actually eating. If you want to break your fast with a samosa, or you want to break your fast with cake, right? But you like don't do that every day. You don't do that every day during Ramadan, but there's this one day that you're like, I'm craving cake so badly. And you eat a piece of cake and you enjoy every bite of the cake. I'm all for that, right? That doesn't mean that that's like the healthiest thing you could do. No, but if you're eating super healthy and you're like hating every minute of it, that's also a problem, right? Like you want to enjoy the food that you're eating. But you know, if you can break your fast with a date, like spend that date in water, it helps balance your blood sugar before you start eating. And then you can start, make sure you just have something green at your plate, inshallah. But, you know, in terms of healthy eating during Ramadan, it's super important because our body is going into, again, autophagy during the day. We're going into ketosis. And then, so if you can eat healthy at night, again, it will aid your body in healing.
That was a great answer. I think for one of our last questions tonight, would you consider working out like in our ibadah to Allah? And if so, why?
Yes, 1000%. And you know, I was telling someone the other day, I was like, oh my God, it is a shame because if you work out a lot and you forget to make the intention that you're doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're missing out on a lot of good deeds, right? So absolutely. I mean, our bodies are something that we're supposed to take care of our physical bodies. It affects our emotional state, our mental state. It affects everything in our lives, right? A lot of the times we think our emotions and our mental state is separate from our body, but it's very, very much the same. Everything is interconnected. That's why sometimes if you have some sort of emotional trauma, it can get locked in your body because your body is connected to your emotions and your mind. So yeah, movement is definitely a form of worship. You're moving to take care of your body. You're moving because you love your body and you want to nourish your body, not because you hate your body or you want to change it so badly that you're punishing yourself. So that's completely separate. So if you feel like that is where you're at and you feel like exercise is a form of punishment, then you can absolutely move to a place where you feel like it's a form of love for yourself. But it takes some mindset work and reframing. And that's how I started, right? So I started doing it out of self-punishment, not realizing I was doing that. And then years later, it got to the point where it was completely shifted. So it can shift. So if you feel like, oh my God, I'm doing exercise wrong because I'm punishing myself, like don't stress too much about it. We don't want to stress. We want to lower the stress. So, but yeah, I think make the intention that you're doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that will also change the way that you think about exercise. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes completely sense. So what is it that you do? Like, what do you normally have for iftar, and how do you like manage that with like everything else? Like how do you like
Yeah.
what do you eat? Like
Yeah. So tonight I crave salad a lot. Which, okay, let me tell you guys, salad, when you go to like events, okay, again, I'm talking about pre-COVID, and you look at the salad, like it's so depressing. Can we talk about depressing salads for a second? Like, why is it iceberg lettuce? And it looked like someone threw it together with a blindfold. And there's like a little bit of carrots on top. And like, there's no dressing. Like, it's so depressing. So we need to make healthy food fun because it is fun. Simple food tastes really good, but we don't give it a chance. Okay. So let's talk about salads. Lemon, yes. Salt. Do not skimp on the salt. Okay. Yes. Olive oil, yes. Mint, yes. Well, here's a secret. I actually put garlic powder in my salads, and you think that's very weird. It tastes amazing. Just mix it up really, really good. It tastes really good. Garlic powder, mint, olive oil, and lemon, and you don't want to skimp on any of those ingredients. Did I say salt? Salt. You need to add the salt. It tastes really good. So I made a salad with like leafy greens, cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, green onions. And I crave avocado in my salads. Not everyone likes that, but I like putting it. So I'm just gonna mix that together. I roasted some chicken thighs and I roasted some cauliflower with olive oil. And then a couple of sweet potatoes I roasted on the side. So I like to balance it. We're like, this is not every night, by the way. Yesterday we had pizza. So this is like, you want to balance things, right? Like if you're craving something, like it's okay to eat it unless you have a sensitivity to that food. But it's all about balance, right? So yeah, we have the sweet potatoes, which are my carbs, the salad, and the cauliflower, which are the veggies, and then I have the chicken, which is the protein. So yes, I'm excited, Abdullah.
That's great. I love your mini salad recipe. My salad tip, add feta cheese in your salad. It tastes great, guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good. A next question about, since we're talking about fasting and healthy food right now, do you have any advice for if you hit a plateau with weight loss during the month of Ramadan?
Is this for someone who's intentionally trying to lose weight during Ramadan?
Yes. Yeah, that would make the most sense.
Yeah. I would say eat more. Like instead of eating, let's say you're eating one meal, I would say eat two, which sounds counterintuitive, but if you're not eating enough, your metabolism can slow down too much and you might need more protein and some more vegetables. So like up the protein, up the vegetables. So maybe have a second meal after iftar.
so would you have any advice for someone who is diabetic and still wants to enjoy nice meals?
That's a tough one. I don't do a lot of work with balancing things with diabetes. I feel like, yeah, I don't really have an answer for that. I want to have an answer for it, but unfortunately I don't. Yeah, I would just say the best thing you can do is just try and enjoy things that are still taste good but are healthy, right? Like again, making things fun and enjoyable. It's hard when your whole family is eating something that you want to eat and you know you can't eat it. That's really difficult. So maybe, and sometimes we often fall into the trap, and this might not be directly related to diabetes, but sometimes we might fall into the trap of like, I can't eat healthy because my whole family does not eat healthy. Like my mom and dad buy all this food and my mom cooks, and how am I going to say no when everyone else is eating it and it's right in front of me? That's obviously difficult, and that's not to say that you can never enjoy that food. That's if you don't have diabetes, right? But sometimes you have to be the leader in your family. Sometimes you have to be the one to inspire other people instead of waiting for other people to do what you want to do, right? Sometimes you just have to do it and just acknowledge that not everyone's going to want to try to eat healthier. Not everyone's going to be on the same page as you, right? Not everyone's going to understand why you want to be that way. And maybe when they start seeing you having fun doing that, they'll want to join in with you, right? But as far as diabetes goes, yeah, it's just trying to make foods that are healthy, fun, and more enjoyable. And, again, just, making dua that Allah makes it easy for you.
Alrighty, great answer. Yeah, I think it can really differ between like if you have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, there's like a big giant bar, I guess. A question that I personally had, for people that play like recreational sports like basketball and soccer, and but pre-COVID, these practices wouldn't stop and the games wouldn't stop when Ramadan came. What level of intensity should we push ourselves to during Ramadan?
Again, it depends on what you enjoy. Like before I had kids during Ramadan, I worked out very intensely almost every day and I felt great. I felt the best I ever felt. Now, if I tried to do that, I'd probably pass out after having a couple kids and being more tired. So if you are not used to doing like super intense workouts before Ramadan, I would not recommend starting during Ramadan. And it depends on your goals. Like if you just want more energy during Ramadan, you don't need to work out that intensely. You could literally just do 7 minutes of movement a day, low impact, body weight. You can add in some intervals if you want to, some plyometrics, some jumping. But so if your goal is energy, just do 7 minutes a day, right? You can do longer if you want to, but that's what I recommend. If your goal is fat loss, maybe you could do more like 30 minutes a few times a week, 4 times a week, and stick to resistance training. If you're just like an endorphin junkie and you really like working out intensely and you feel like you're missing something during Ramadan when you don't do it, you can still do that during Ramadan if you feel good, but you don't want to get to the point where you feel like you're going to completely pass out, right? So if you feel good after your workouts and you feel good during the rest of the day and after Iftar, then you can totally still do that. So it depends on your goal, energy, fat loss, or if you're just an endorphin junkie, you really like working out intensely, then you can just base it off of your goal.
Awesome. Do you have like any favorite workout that you like to do?
Yeah, I actually really like bar during Ramadan. It's like a mix of like Pilates, and I'm not a Pilates person, but I really like it. It's like a mix of Pilates and like ballet inspired movement. And I like it because it's low impact. So there's not a ton of jumping, and literally like anyone can do it. And I use like 3-pound dumbbells when I do it, and it burns. Like I did not know how badly 3-pound dumbbells hurt until I did it. It was a bar workout. So bar is great. I like that. And just also very simple resistance training. Like very simple, like for example, squat, lunge, deadlift, push up, chest press, shoulder press, tricep dip, whatever. Very simple body weight exercises. You can add dumbbells if you're used to it. So if you're used to working out with weights before Ramadan, you can continue. If you feel tired, you can just increase the rest periods between your exercises. So instead of resting, let's say 30 minutes to a minute, you could rest 2 minutes, right? Or 3 minutes.
Awesome. Jazakallah khair. So any final thoughts that you like to have before we all make dua for a few minutes before Iftar? So any last thoughts?
Any last thoughts? Yeah, I mean, that movement is fun, and that I really believe that everyone can develop a healthy relationship with it. And if you feel like it's something that you've been striving towards, but you have been failing over and over again with being consistent, or just is not something that you enjoy, just keep doing it. Keep trying. Don't give up. Never give up, and just keep trying different things until you find something that maybe you really enjoy. Try new things. Be adventurous. Have fun with it.
Awesome. Jazakallah khair. So as a consistency coach, I'm sure there's like some difficulty with like having that consistency, with either exercising or eating healthy and all that. So it's just like that 7 minute that you mentioned, right? I think that was something that's really helpful, like doing an action just for 7 minutes. I think that could like sort of get you where you would want to, because I remember one of my teachers would also told me like, that if you do something for like 7 minutes, then that is like a way of being consistent with it, because it's just 7 minutes of your life out of the 24 hours that you have. So
yeah, absolutely. And actually, Tony Robbins said this, and I have already known this before he said it, but once he said it, literally everything clicked into place. And I know it's so cliche, like Tony Robbins, oh my God, like, yes, but actually he said this and I was like, wow, that's actually true. That a person will hold on to their identity so tightly. So whoever you believe you are, you will live by that. So whoever you believe you are, you will live by that. So if you believe that you are a person who enjoys exercise and that you're a fit, quote unquote, fit person, you will literally live by that. So it's really not about working out for 2 hours or, you know, whatever you do for your workout. Like, it doesn't matter. You need to do it consistently, make it easy for yourself. So if I say work out 7 minutes a day every day and you're like, that's so easy, I can do that, perfect. Like, you need to do it until your identity shifts and you believe something different about yourself. So now that you shift your beliefs about yourself, you're going to start acting differently in your life and showing up differently. And that's what we want. So it's really not about the how and the what and the, you know, whatever. It's about literally we need to shift your identity, and that's what's going to make you consistent.
Awesome. Jazakallah khair once again. And so now let's take a few minutes just to make dua before we have our adhan. Jazakallah khair. We enjoyed having you today.
Well, Yaki, thank you so much. This was so fun.
This was so much fun.
I learned a lot. You were so great, Sister Hanan. It was awesome.
Thanks, Isra. Thank you, Rida. You guys are awesome.
Alrighty, so time for dua, everybody.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر 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 لا إله إلا الله
Jazakallah khair, Fadila. Jazakallah khair everyone for tuning in today for our iftar. Next week we'll be having another iftar session, conversation, Saturday and Sunday as well, inshallah. So join us again. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.